Have you ever not slept for so long that you started hallucinating? What was your experience? Yeah, after 70 hours or so. It's pretty disorienting and rational. Thinking starts to get very slow. The hallucinations are not realistic, but are more like gaps in your vision that are shaped like things. Might see a silhouette at a distance or briefly around a corner. Very difficult to function in this state. Would not recommend. A buddy of mine landed a painting job working inside of a big commercial building, and he basically stayed in the place for 6 days, straight smoking crystal meth and painting to meet his deadline and avoid hiring a crew to help him. On the 6th day, the building caught fire, and he ran into the lobby and was pulling people out into the streets and yelling to call 911. The firemen showed up and couldn't locate a fire because there was none. He was hallucinating. It's almost a regular occurrence for me by now because I suffer from insomnia. There are 3 different types of hallucinations for me. 1. Funny. Useless. Shit I know is fake. 2. Shit that could be real or not. 3. Extremely scary and traumatic shit I know is fake but rattles me up every single time. Usually they appear in that order. Pro tip: if you are experiencing visual hallucinations and you aren't sure whether something is real or not, take a photo with your smartphone and look. It's very unlikely that you hallucinate the same shit twice and in the exact same position. Works for me at last. Edit: Holy son of a biscuit eater. This just about blew up in a matter of hours. I received a handful of genuinely interested people's questions, and I'll try to answer all of them, should I receive even more. To most of them, I already reply. Will continue later, because as I am typing this, I am awake at an hour I should not be awake. So I'll try and get some more shit. Imagine the irony. Ex-addict was driving home after a 3-day meth bender. Needed food, so drove into a McDonald's drive-thru. When asked for my order, I replied with chicken wing. Please. Then they asked me against, and I said with chicken meal. Please. Then they asked me again, and I was like, can't you fucking hear me? Me chicken meal. And that's when I realized I wasn't actually saying anything. I was just replying in my head. I went roughly 4 days on 5 hours sleep total. I could function fine, but I would just constantly hear things, like people mumbling right next to me. Story time. My mum suffers from narcolepsy, and one of the first treatments they gave her basically drove her also completely insane. She was up for 5 days. One day, I walked into her bedroom, hearing her talking to someone. I look around and ask her who she is talking to, and she tells me the lady in red. There's no one in the room at all, just us. I ask, where's the lady? And she says the lady sits on the dresser and talks to her all night. I was like 14 at the time, so I went to the kitchen and hid her medicine until my stepdad got home and could take her to the hospital. The doctor was super upset about the meds her doctor had given her. It was way too much. Anyway, she stopped seeing the lady after they got all that straightened out. I hadn't slept for about 72 hours when I went to the doc gave me Ambien. I go home, get in bed, and take one. A few minutes later, the floor was covered in water and the walls were melted. It was raining outside, and the water on my windows was marching in formation. I've never known whether that was sleep deprivation or the effects of Ambien. I've never taken another. Fucking shadow people. It's bad for you. You shouldn't do it. But if you are asking this question, you're the type to try. Remember, it's not real, and relax. Go to sleep. Overseas on a deployment. Started getting sleep deprived for a period of time. Started hallucinating the big dates / palm trees moving across the road like in The Lord of the Rings when the trees walk. I stayed up for 3 days straight when I was 70. On the 3rd day, I kept hearing people call my name as if they wanted to ask me a question. It didn't help that I also thought it would be a good idea to go to school that day. Multiple times a day, I would bolt upright and look around to see who wanted my attention, only to see my fellow students huddled over their work. It got worse as the day went. My friends were a little worried about how weird I was acting. I walked home after school, listening to my headphones as usual, but I still kept hearing someone call my name. The music made it worse. Whatever I was hearing was already kind of muffled, and having a song playing in my ears only seemed to obscure it more. When I finally got home, I told my mum I wasn't feeling well, went to my room and went straight to sleep. At 4 in the afternoon, as nodded off, I heard that voice calling for me again, making me jerk out of my sleep. This repeated a couple times until I convinced myself that I already told my mum I was sick, and if she really needed me, she could come get me. I finally went to sleep and didn't wake until 2 to use the bathroom, and then went to sleep afterwards again until 9 a.m. the next day. I was an idiot.